Okay, guys. Well, first of all, congratulations to Asa and to Kyle for securing new deals with the club. It's obviously great to have all three of you on board again for next season. Obviously, with Jake already under contract. With the uncertainty in football at the moment, and a lot of players are going to be without clubs in the close season, it must be a big relief for us. We're not having to worry about all of that side of things with the club tackling it so quickly. Asa, can come to you first.
Yeah, I mean, I think the club have been really good. I think the gaffer and everyone involved, has looked after the players and made sure that we've got contracts and keeping the squad together. I think is a really good idea. And the world of football is very uncertain, and we don't even have a start date yet or anything. So yeah, for the club to do it, I think it's very good on their part, and I hope we can pay them back in the long run.
Kyle, are you looking forward to another year at Plainmoor?
Yeah, I've enjoyed the last 2 seasons there. Obviously, the first year was great, winning the league and stuff, and getting the chance to get promoted and playing in the conference last year. I think this year, with what's going on and stuff, and the club giving it near enough everyone a new deal, with the experience we've gained this year, I think it's going to stand in real good stead for the coming season with a lot of clubs unsure, and I think if they can afford to pay their bigger players and stuff, so we could be seeing next year that teams are playing younger lads and stuff, so it could really put them in a good position to hopefully kick on for next season.
Absolutely. And Jake, obviously I know that you're already under contract for next season, but it must be nice to know that you're not going to get caught up in that situation with so many players looking for new clubs and obviously maybe clubs carrying smaller squads next year.
Yeah, it was nice for myself, obviously Lucas, to be secured for another year, but obviously I was speaking to a few lads and everyone's worried about the timing. Like, some players obviously turned down deals and have put themselves in a position where they might not get paid for, well, however long the season takes. It could take 6 months, maybe next year. So I was one of the lucky ones to not have to worry about next season, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's good news on morale to have you guys on board, and I know the Yellow Army will certainly be agreeing with that one as well. Now, you've all been at the club for the best part of 2 years now. Things, of course, look very different when things started out back in 2018 when the club were adapting to life in the National League South. How did things change so quickly under the gaffer, Gary Johnson? Maybe you can give us some insights, some examples as to what he does with the players to get things going and to bring out the best in all of you. Asa, if we can start with you first.
Yeah, I think it's the game plan the gaffer works to. He does a lot of work off the pitch, off the training field, and really gets across his message about being attacking and creating chances, scoring goals. That's his main area to work on, and we had the personnel to do that. And I think the gaffer just brought it out of everyone and sort of gave us the freedom to go and create these chances, but having that solid platform to work from, and it's motivating. And once we got scoring the goals, it was like a train that they couldn't stop, and everyone really enjoyed that season.
Would you agree with most of that then Kyle? It's obviously having a solid base from the back, but it must be reassuring when you've got the forward line that's scoring so many goals at the other end.
Yeah, of course, it sometimes makes our job a lot easier when the lads up there are scoring 2, 3, 4 goals a game. I mean, it takes the pressure off us to have to grind out maybe a 1-0 or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? So if we make mistakes, it doesn't get highlighted as much as it was if we're getting beat. So it was good. The change that come with obviously the manager just brought a fresh start for everyone at the club and a fresh environment for everyone to grow and improve, I think, which is obviously what was needed after the past couple of seasons of scraping and staying up in the National League. So I think the fresh start and stuff was what we needed, and it ended up being a really good season. Like Asa said, once the train got going, it just didn't stop really, and we just kept progressing and improving and really showing my dominance in that league.
Yes, that's right. And Jake, you're one of a number of players that's obviously played for Gary at a previous club, having had a spell on loan in the league with Cheltenham. Have you noticed the same sort of pattern, how he worked there at Cheltenham and how he's worked here and brought that magic to Torquay?
Yeah, definitely. The style of play, I don't think has ever changed. Like he says that to us, like even in the Championship with Bristol City, he'd work on exactly the same things he's working on with the conference. And going back to your question before, I think that when the gaffer came in, he got rid of a few players that weren't like needed in the squad. Really, they were just not a hindrance. But I'm not going to name names or anything. And he felt that he had to get rid of a few players to bring the best out of everyone else. And I think that's exactly what happened.
And Jake, you were a youngster at Bristol City, I think, when they nearly got into the Premier League, when they were actually in the playoff final against Hull City. Is that right?
Yeah, I was. I think I was 9 or 10 when they got to the playoff final. I've actually got a picture of me with the gaffer when I was 10. And I was showing it him before, and it was loud.
You didn't get on the pitch that day, though.
No, I didn't. Not at 10.
So, what were the most memorable moments, individual moments that you had of the title-winning campaign in the National League stuff? Is there anything that you remember about that maybe isn't common knowledge with the Yellow Army? That little moments that you remember about it that you'll always cherish. Asa?
Well, there's so many. I think on the pitch, I remember the East Thurrock game that sticks in my mind massively away from home, where Rory came on and gets the winner, and I had to play centre half for 75 minutes or something. So I think that was a big turning point for us. We were 1-0 down, horrible conditions, but we proved that we could turn things around, and I think that's what champions are made of in the long run. But I mean, there's so many things. I think I enjoyed every bit of it, to be honest. And we scored some great goals. There's some great highlight reels from that season, and everyone played a massive part. It wasn't just a couple of standout players. Everyone contributed, and that's what it takes to win a title.
Yeah, you mentioned the historic game. Obviously, the team talk that was on the Champions DVD has gone down in history with Torquay United fans. But it's right that it was done in the right way, because obviously the results were there. You were losing 1-0 at half time, but it worked because it was the sign of champions that we came back. We got the late winner. We got a 2-1 win. Maybe things hadn't quite gone to plan, but we came through in the end, didn't we? Yeah,
I think because we set such high standards, and the gaffer does as well. We were 1-0 down at half time, and maybe we hadn't started the game well, and that wasn't us. And gaffer knows there's more in us than that, and that team talk just sparked something in everyone to raise the game second half, and then it turns out to be a really critical game of the season.
Carl, what were your most memorable highlights from that season?
Again, like you said, there's so many on and off the pitch that brings a smile to your face when you think about it. For me, I think the big game that'll always stand up for me personally would be Dartford away. It turned out to be a tough place to go, and it was a really difficult game. Made a double clearance on the line first half, and then set up Rory. I can't remember if that was for the first goal or the second goal, but I think that started maybe putting a bit of momentum into it and really showed what we could do. We could go to places and we could grind out a result. And like the gaffer always said, our fitness would always come through in the end because we were full time. We were a lot fitter than teams in that league. We also got Concorde away and scored my first goal for Torquay, which was a big weight lifted off my shoulders, especially when I was getting battered all the time off the gaffer and the management staff, and even some of the boys for not scoring or not getting as many chances as I should be. So that was a good one. Obviously, winning the league, that's always going to be something that'll stick with us forever.
Yeah, that was like you mentioned the Concorde match. That was a big moment, and obviously you celebrated right in front of the Torquay fans, and the passion there between both the players, the team, and the supporters was clear for all to see, wasn't there? It was a unique bond, wasn't there?
Yeah, definitely. I think I think that the bond that we created with the fans and everyone involved with the club, like players and stuff, during that season, after all the tough times and the heartache that's been involved with the club, I think it just shows obviously how passionate the fans are and how passionate us as a group of players are to play for the club as well.
Yeah, and Jake, what were your individual favourite moments from last season? There's obviously quite a lot to think about. We've already touched upon it, but any in particular for yourself that you think, yeah, that was a special moment?
There's definitely a few, but it would be two. One would be obviously Winter's goal against Woking, coming back from 3-1 down. We were near enough dead and buried. We were all down, and Seku's goal sparked us, and then obviously Wint's got the goal, and obviously the celebrations were quite good after that as well. And another one for me would be the goal against Eastbourne. Was it Eastbourne last game of the season?
Yep.
My goal that secured us the title, really, and it was just a relief when we scored that goal with 10 or so minutes to go. We kind of knew that we'd won the league from there.
Seem to remember that you celebrated in style as well, Jake.
I did, yeah. I've actually done that for 10 or so years, so I had to back myself.
It's a good job you pulled it off, though, Jake. The amount of times that people will have watched that on YouTube since, if you made a mess of it, then it could have been a little bit embarrassing.
It would have been very embarrassing, but got through it.
Another big moment for Jake was the following the Bath City match with the missed penalty. To actually bounce back from that, we showed it on the website a couple of weeks ago, was to actually get a hat trick in your next game against Oxford C. That was that was a standout moment for yourself and actually showed a lot of ball.
Yeah, it did. Obviously I felt rock bottom after the Bath game, missing the penalty and then going on to lose it. But in the week I spoke to Downsy, and he said he done exactly the same thing. He got sent off. They needed to stay up, and he got sent off like 4 minutes into the game, and he felt like he let everyone down. But in the end, he bounced back from that as well. So that's exactly what I had to do.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was a very special response. And now this season that we have was obviously record breaking, but it's also important to remember that the start of the last season, obviously the season that has been curtailed, the team started in very much a similar pattern, scoring a lot of goals, scoring more goals than anybody else in the league. Obviously, injuries did intervene somewhat, and that's obviously played a part in it. But how do you feel that during those 36 games that the team adapted to going up to the National League, up a higher level? Asa?
Yeah, I think obviously there is a definite step up to the National League from the the south, but as you say, injuries played a big part. But I think everyone had the self-belief, and we've shown it in games and bits of other games where we can definitely play at this level, create goals and cause problems for teams. So I think everyone will be better for having this season under their belts. So it's probably the highest level some players have played before in their career, and everyone has learnt a lot, and I think that puts us in good stead, keeping most of the group together for next season, and we can sort of have that advantage and use it to start really strong.
Carl, you were one of the few players that seemed to avoid most of the injury problems that we had last year, but it was the first full season that you've had at National League level. How did you find it?
Really good. Like we said, we started off really well as a team, and it was looking like it could have been a season of back-to-back promotions. Like you said, them injuries, they hindered were quite a lot in hindsight when you look at it. I think with a little bit of luck and not them injuries, I think we would have still been up there and stuff. But I think this season, I think personally and for everyone involved, I think like Asa said, it's going to stand in real good stead for next season. We're all a young group of lads, and we're going to be together again next year. So this is going to be our third year together as a squad. So by then we know how each other play and strengths and weaknesses of each other. So personally, I was learning every game, making mistakes, learning from them, and just trying to improve day in, day out. like you said, it's my first season probably playing at a consistently good level. So I think come next season, for me and for everyone, it's going to put us in a real good place to hopefully have a real good season, have a real good go at it.
And Jake, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that. It's a very tough division, the National League, with so many ex-league clubs down there. How did you find it?
Both the boys were spot on, really. I feel exactly the same as them. It's my first, same as Carl, my first year playing in the National League as well. And it's at the start, like when I spoke to Downsy, we've had player reviews, and I said at the start, I didn't start as well as I wanted to start the season. And it took for the gaffer to give me a little rollicking, as I should say, to get myself going, and then felt we'd done well for the next 20 odd games, but then obviously the injuries hit us quite hard, and the games after that weren't so good.
No, I think you were carrying some knocks on occasions as well, Jake, weren't you? I mean, although to your credit, I think it was by the mid-November, you'd already notched 6 goals yourself and actually still had a number of assists. So, was still playing a vital part in the season, even though you were carrying an injury in that. How is that? Has that cleared up at all now?
Yeah, it's all cleared up now. I had an injection at the start of the season. Most of the boys, no one really plays a game 100%. Like Skip had his toe problem, his calf problem, and Kyle had his back problem, I think it was. So everyone has their problems, but you just got to get through it, really.
I guess it is one of the blessings having this enforced break. It has given time a little bit more for those things to clear up. Obviously, it's very, very early days, and that we wouldn't normally have completed the whole season. But what are your expectations, your hopes for next season, Asa?
I think it's definitely got to be promotion in everyone's minds, and that's what I know. I'm sure the gaffer's message will be: we're going after promotion, and we've got a very good squad to build on. I think if we bring in 3 or 4 players who add to that, we can have a right go at it. And I think getting the playoffs at any point at the season, and anything can happen if you're in and around it at Christmas, and we have a good second half of the season and kick on, and put a run together, get that belief going and that team spirit that we had in the National League South, and anything can happen.
Kyle, I'm sure that we mentioned on various different occasions last season we were going for the playoffs, and actually a bit frustrating that just as the season was curtailed, it looked like we were starting to get back in the swing of things. Players were coming back from injury and starting to build a bit more form again. But those 36 games that we played, although the season has not gone the way it's finished prematurely, they'll still count for next season. So it's almost like the clubs had a little sneak preview as to what the National League is like before we go again next season.
Definitely. It's, like I say, it's been a good learning experience for everyone, and it will stand in good stead for sticking together next year and actually having our squad together. Where, like I said, the bits and pieces I've been reading online and stuff like that, if this continues for another 2, 3, 4 months, clubs could be struggling to pay like the big players and stuff. So it could really help us out. I think what's happened the past few months with us sticking together and clubs maybe having to play younger players. Like Asa said, promotion's got to be in the picture for us, really. We're all an ambitious young squad, apart from the likes of Asa and stuff, who are getting on a little bit, but they obviously experience to us, and they have their input and help us day in, day out. I mean, for me personally, I'd love to go and win the league again, like we did like 2 seasons ago now. Something that'll always live long in the memory, and if we could do that together as a squad, I think that'll just really prove to everyone that how good we really are, and that we can keep improving together.
Yeah, so just touching upon what Carl said there, Jake, having a predominantly settled squad, players that have been together for the best part of 2 years, could really put us in good stead, and certainly nothing to fear next season at all.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone knows how everyone plays now, because most of the lads there have played together for 2 years, like you said. So it puts us in stead for next year. Like, I feel like I'm repeating what Skip and Carl are saying, but they're exactly right. Like, we've got a young squad, and we believe we're good enough, and the gaffer obviously believes everyone's good enough. Well, yeah, I say young squad apart from Ace, I think 45, and this is 46. So everyone else is young apart from that.
Ace, you're getting a bit of stick there, or is it that the experience it's a kind of backhanded compliment? How are you taking that, Ace?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been in their shoes before, and they'll get to my age, and hopefully they're still playing at that age. We'll see, JK. But yeah, I take it as experience, and I don't feel 33, so I think that's the main thing.
Now, actually, we were just having a chat, Asa, before this started. Be interesting to know how you've all been coping during lockdown, and if anybody has developed any new skills, any new talents. Asa, what have you been getting up to?
Yeah, so I'm on day 3 of my UEFA B today. Learning a lot, enjoying it, and it's quite interesting seeing how the game has changed. Like, we did some long-term player development stuff yesterday, and you know, from me being in 12, 13 years old playing, you know, the views on football is definitely changing, and taking that through to first team football. You know, the world is evolving in football, and you know, it's nice to hear how people look at the game, and hopefully, you know, when that time comes and I start coaching, then I can have an impact on that too.
Great, that's really interesting stuff to see that you're going in that direction, Ace. As I say, like, I think when we've spoken to some of the players beforehand, a number of them have said that they could see you getting involved in the coaching side. Carl, what have you been getting up to? How have you found lockdown? Have you been learning any new skills at all, or been doing things that you wouldn't normally be doing?
Well, nothing as exciting as Asa. I've got to say, I've been just playing PlayStation and just trying to keep myself busy, reading some books and stuff. But you know what I mean, it's getting that point now. I'm starting to get a little bit bored, so I'm just trying to keep myself ticking over really, and sort of focusing on next season, and sort of setting myself some goals and set myself a plan for the next 8 weeks. But as of learning new things, not a lot really.
It must be difficult, Kyle. It must be difficult, Kyle, when you're so used, for any footballer that's used to sort of being so active and that, to actually find a situation where you are restricted. Like, it must be difficult.
Yeah, definitely. I think the hardest thing is obviously, like you say, we're active, but we've been active the full season. We've had a hard season, and we've put a lot of work into it. And I'll probably speak for the other boys. When it comes to this time of the season, you're ready for a rest, and you're ready to socialise and have some fun with your friends and go on holiday and stuff. So I think that's probably the hardest thing at the moment, that we can't do any of that. We can't go and see our friends, and we can't socialise and, like I say, go on holiday and just relax and switch off. Obviously, with us all getting the new contracts and that, I think that's one thing off our mind that we haven't got to worry about, and not worrying about where the next paycheck's coming from and how we're going to see ourselves through the summer. So, like I said, it's boring, but everyone's in the same boat at the moment. So we're just taking a good rest and trying to get ready for next year.
Yeah, unfortunately, Carl, this is probably socialising 2020 style at the moment. But Jake, what have you been getting up to, and how have you found lockdown?
It's been all right. Yeah, just spending as much time with the family as possible. Been doing a few challenges in the garden, like trying to chip a golf ball into a ball out there about 5 hours the other day. Very good at golf, as I would know. But it's just trying to keep yourself busy, really, spending as much time with the kids, with the missus. I've found out she's not actually that bad, Dom. So she's actually all right, the missus.
Well, I'm glad to hear that things are going well anyway, Jake. That would have taken the conversation in a very different direction. But do we all have a message for the supporters and the Yellow Army that are watching at home at the moment? Asa?
Yeah, I'd just say, you know, I hope everyone's staying well and staying safe, and I'm sure everyone's really excited, like we are, I think, to get back at Playmore, and I can't wait for that atmosphere. I think day one at Playmore is going to be very exciting and very lively. So I'm sure everyone's, dying to get back there.
Yeah, absolutely. Very special atmosphere. I think that's going to be on the opening day again. It'd be nice if we're at home. Carl, have you got a message for the Yellow Army at all?
Just to reiterate as well, just stay safe, make sure everyone's looking after their families and their friends and doing everything that they're meant to be doing and not going out and stuff. But like Ace, I can't wait for that first day. I think this long break from football is probably going to get the fans excited, and hopefully we can have a big crowd to start the season for the first few games. I'm sure everyone's missing football like we are, and the fans are probably missing it a lot more. But I just can't wait to get started and hopefully see them, the fans flooding in and their numbers and really showing some good support next season.
Yeah, absolutely great. And Jake, final word to you?
Exactly the same as the other boys, really. Just hope everyone's staying safe and just follow the government guidelines, really. And see you soon at Playmore.
Brilliant. Well, Asa, Carl, Jake, thank you for joining us today. Can only reiterate what the lads have been saying. Take care, keep safe, and we'll see you all again very, very soon.